and welcome to Yarn Lane, and it's block of the month time, number 5. How can we have got to number 5 already? So if you've been with Wendy and I over the last 5 months and have been following us, we're nearly there. We're nearly there, and it's looking great. I've got all of the months now. Look, it's growing. Every month I get more and more on my desk. But I'm going to start off with Yarn Lane Loves, which I have chosen for you this month. It's by Knit Pro, because I love Knit Pro, and they're lovely. This is a knitting chart keeper. Wendy's getting quite excited now. So, you know when you've got your knitting chart, and it's magnetic, look, see? And you need to be able to follow it. You can put your chart on here. I should have got a chart, shouldn't I? To be able to do it. You pin this, right, I'm going to show you now, around there. And then you can put this on the table, or you can put it on your lap. I don't know how to show you best, really, to do that. And then you can pin your chart onto there, and then you use this magnetic line to follow along your work, so you know where you are. So if you're following a chart and you want to be able to see where you are, or instructions, so if you've got, let me get one set out here and I'll show you. Wendy's looking confused now. It's genius, isn't it? So you can turn it either way, because I chose this one because it's A4. So you know what it's like, you don't want to mark your pattern, or you don't want to keep marking it because you want to see where you were. And maybe you're on this row here and you want to remember that. You just put your magnets. They're all stuck together now. You put your magnets underneath, and then you can simply put this exactly where you want to follow on the line where you are. Or if you're knitting from a chart, you can put it along the line of the chart. Depends how you want to do it. This is fab, isn't it? Really good for cross stitch as well. It has a pocket, a zip pocket in it, to put all your hooks and needles and whatever you want. And it has a pen, do a bit of marking as well. Isn't it just the best thing? And then, I'm going to just see how, that's how it works, like that. So, can you see it? Okay. And then you can just put your thing, so you could have it on the table in front of you. You can put it either way, depends on which way you want to do it. And you have it on the table in front of you. What a lovely thing. There we go. Shall I turn it around like that? That's that way, but you can turn it the other way as well, depending on how you do it. But brilliant for recipe books. I mean, it is called a chart keeper, but obviously you can use it for other things as well. So, it is obviously mainly used for knitting patterns, but you can use it to hold up anything. So when you finish with it, let's put my instructions back there. You stick your magnets back on, and then you just undo the clippy thing, fold it back round. There we go. Perfect for charts. Isn't that lovely? I chose this one because I like it. It's sort of a bit William Morrissey thing. Now, they're different sizes of this one, but I think a lot of charts often come in the A4 size. So I think that this one is slightly better. But it's just really portable. Obviously, it folds flat, which is great because you might not want it to be like that all the time. And then you can keep all your bits and pieces in here. And it's fat. I like the fact it has the zip pocket as well. Only 25 left. Oh. £23.49. It is perfect. Ideal. So if you knit from charts or even from patterns, you can keep your place marked on there, and then you can just have it on the table in front of you or next to you on the sofa, and it just means you don't lose your place and you haven't got to then put a marker on it or draw on it with pencil. So that is this week's Yarn Lane Loves. Wendy loves that. Do you love that?
I love it.
You can't have it.
Oh, okay.
You can't have it. Well, you can, but it's £23.49. People are buying multi of these. I'm not surprised. I'll just give you the size. So in the open position, it's 50 by 30 centimetres, and when it's folded, it's 25 by 30. But I chose it specially because it will hold an A4. And I tell you what also is good, is that if you've got lots of patterns and charts, you can store them in here as well. So nice place, keeps it nice and flat. So if you've got your knitting bag and then you shove your pattern in and that gets all creased, put it inside here and it will keep it nice and flat for you. So we are on month five, and as always, it's knitting and crochet. So let me just explain to those of you who join me for the first time, wonder what block of the month is. So Wendy has designed this beautiful blanket that uses 6 different blocks, And it's a building tool, really. The first block, there's a knitting one and a crochet. They're either or. They're not interchangeable, either or. The first block of both of them is very, very simple. It starts off with the basics. And each month we've been building your skills as you go. And then you move on to the next one, the next one. And then when we get onto block 6, that will be the most complicated. But it has all been designed with beginners at heart. If you're not a beginner, that's fine. You will zip through this and you will really enjoy doing it. And it is a beautiful blanket. If you are a beginner, this is where to start. So we are on block month 5 now. We have 2 kits. We have the knitting one and the crochet one. And you have to choose which one. But we also have all the other blocks. Now, the joy of this blanket is there is enough yarn. Every month you get 4 balls of yarn. All the colours, when you make the whole blanket, obviously coordinate beautifully together. There's enough yarn to knit 2 or if not 3 blankets. So if you make 2 of each square each month, you can make a beautiful blanket, and Wendy will show it to you in a minute, that you can have. So you could either make a bigger blanket, make more squares, or make another blanket, give it to a friend, give it to charity, give it to particularly homeless charities, hospitals, things like that. Sell it as in a raffle, give it in a raffle, sell it at a school fair, whatever you want to do. But we've made sure that there's enough yarn so that you can have a practice, get it wrong, unpick it, do it again, make a blanket where making 2 squares in 1 month isn't too much. But if you want to make more squares, you've got the yarn to do it. Anyway, that's how it works. So this month is month 5. So if you want to do crochet series 5, you get the pattern. Here we go. All the instructions, everything you need to know. Obviously building on everything that you've learnt in the other ones, but everything you need to know. You don't need the other instructions to make this block, but obviously it is building. So this month it's corner to corner. Now I know you love corner to corner because you're always posting on the Yarn Lane fans page about how much you love corner to corner and showing us photos. So if you love corner to corner and you want to have a go, this is where you're going to learn it. So you get the instructions and you get your 4 balls. And this month, there's always cream, because cream is our common colour. This month we have cypress, lipstick and denim. Lovely. And that makes the corner to corner square and a granny square. Or you can make 2 corner to corner squares. But the way the blanket works is every month you get a granny square, which is your normal basic one, and another one. Or you can make 2 of the same. So that is the crochet number 5. If you are joining us for the knitting version, this is the pattern. This month we're going cable. So a lot of you are like, oh, I don't know how to do cable. I'm really scared about cable. See, all these lovely iron jumpers, don't know how to do them. Or you just love cable. This month, isn't it great? So it goes all nice and straight, just like the normal one. And then you get the cable in the middle. So we're going to learn cable. And the colours of the yarn are exactly the same as the crochet one. Makes it simpler. So you get the 4 colours and the pattern, $14.99. You have enough in here to make 2, if not 3, so 6 squares. So you can make a very big blanket or make one for someone else. Now, that is 5, and Wendy's going to be showing us in a minute how to do them. However, if you have missed any of them, or you've only just joined us and you want to catch up, you think, what a really good idea, I want to do this, all the other block of the months are on the website. If you go onto the website, www.yarnlane.com, click on Watch Live and scroll down, all of the others are there. I've got them all here. I'm not going to go through all of them because all the yarn and all the instructions, they are all here. But if you want them, it's $14.99 per month. Per kit, where you get the full instructions. You just choose between knitting and crochet or buy both. The needles are on there because it's the same needles and the same hook, obviously, that's used throughout. So they're on there. And also the blocking mats and the blocking pins, because when you finished your crochet and your knitting squares, you do need to block them. They need to be the same size. And then that sort of, they'll be the same size if you block, but it also gives you a better finish. We will be talking about that in month 7, when we talk about joining it together, finishing it and blocking it and everything. But if you want the blocking mats, which you join together to block the squares, and the special magic blocking pins that you stick through your knitting or crocheting into the mat, we do have these here. Okay, so that's the whole thing. Now, if you've got any questions at all, please do message us. You can message us on the Facebook the Yarn Lane fan page site, or message us at the studio if you prefer, and we will answer you. Right, Wendy. Yes. Wendy, should we start crochet?
Whatever you like. I am easy. I've got
Let's go crochet.
A lovely lady, can't remember her name, I do apologise, said that she got 5 squares. She managed to get 5 out.
5? Wow.
So that would make
good,
like
isn't it?
2 whole blankets and a little baby one, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
So,
or a massive blanket.
an absolutely massive one, yes.
Start with 2 and then see what you want to do.
And actually, I kind of got it wrong because there's not 6 squares, there's 7, isn't there? Because we have 6 and we have the garter square.
Yes, but that's the joining together, because in this last month...
No, we've got 6 squares.
Yes.
And then we also had the garter square, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
So I didn't realise that. We haven't got 6, we've got 7.
Oh, that's true.
I just worked that one out. Now, this is my...
Oh, we need to see the blankets,
oh, yes.
don't we?
Oh, yes.
That's
right.
We've got that. So, if you haven't joined us before, this is the crochet blanket. So, how many squares do we have?
This lives at home. I do apologise.
Yeah, I rarely get to see it because it goes home with Wendy.
You do say you will bring it in. You will bring it in.
Bring it in.
I did have a dream that I forgot it one month.
So, how many squares do we have in there?
So, this is 12.
Right.
This is 12. So, this is the 2 each month. But every other month, everyone has the granny version in. So, each of the colourways, and they are all different. All 6 months do have the cream element, but they're all different, an all different mix. So that's the crochet.
So show me the other. Where's the square you'll be doing this month?
Right. So this is. Oh, he's right in the corner. Actually, the corner to corner is in the corner.
So you can, if you want, make 2 corner to corners this month, or you can do what Wendy's done and made 1 granny square,
1 granny and
1 corner to corner. The instructions for both are in the set of instructions. It's up to you.
Do you know what I would do if it was me?
What would you do?
I would, because you get enough. I would make a whole granny square blanket. And a whole one with the different techniques in there.
That's a really good idea.
Because I just love. So we're not showing the knitting at the moment. We're just concentrating.
No, let's just concentrate on crochet. So that's the beautiful crochet blanket. I should have it and hold it up.
Oh, I don't think so.
I never get to see this blanket.
You don't actually do. I'm very possessive over that blanket.
It's so nice though, isn't it? But you can see how big it is. Isn't it lovely? It's just like perfect for sitting outside and wrapping yourself.
Which I have done on many occasions.
Yes, it's covered in grass. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's covered in dog hairs actually, because me and the dog snuggle under it, so I do apologise.
I love a woolly blanket. But the corner to corner is very lovely, isn't it? Right, anyway, so we're going to learn corner to corner.
You are going to learn corner to corner, and
Which is that one there. It's a very special technique that you can make pictures from.
Yes, so any of them, any people that have seen the corner to corner cushions, this is how they are created with this stitch. Right. Because I've just got a little swatch here because I want to show you how to decrease in a moment. We haven't even got going yet, but I just wanted to show you. And it's literally starting in one corner and then increasing until you get to where you want, and then decreasing back down to create the square. So don't panic, because it will turn into a triangle before it turns into a square.
Because you go corner to corner.
You do. You go from one to another. And we did the corner to corner granny in month 2, and that's a completely different technique.
Yes.
This is my favourite, and anyone that follows me and anyone that knows that this is my forte, this is what I deal with, corner to corner. I create charts, and this is
what you love.
This is what I love. Okay. Because you can make it as big as you want and then come in.
It's quite nice to start off small, isn't it?
It is. It is very. But it's really, really. I just realised I'm probably better using a bit bigger so that you can see at home. So this isn't the. This is
so
a little bit thicker.
For the actual blanket, you need a 4.5mm crochet hook. £2.99, we do have them on the website. That is the size that is recommended to use for this blanket. Wendy's using a bigger one.
I'm using a bigger one, so it's easy to show.
But the 4.5mm is the one that you need.
Yes, because we're working with double crochet. This one isn't. This is a little bit thicker, but we're working with double crochet, and you would normally work from a 3.5 up to a 4.5. And the bigger the hook, the softer it's going to be. So that's why I went with the 4.5. However, it is personal, and if whatever hook that you started with, make sure that you're consistent all the way through.
Just keep using the same one and then it'll be fine.
Corner to corner is not scary in the slightest. It's simply 3 stitches. Do you do corner to corner?
No. No.
And you crochet.
I know,
so
I
you'll
don't
be
know
paying
why,
attention.
just not.
Corner to corner is just an increase stitch, a basic stitch and decrease.
Right,
that is it. And it's how you do them. So I work the 5-2 corner to corner method. And it will become apparent what that is in a moment. A lot of people work a 6-3. Now, because I deal with charts and pictures, I like a smaller hole between my stitches. And 5-2 simply means you chain 5 to start your increase, and it leaves you with a 2 gap. But you'll see that what I do in a moment. So first thing we're going to do is create a slip knot. And we've got this part that is coming from the ball, that's the working yarn, and then we have the tail. So we're going to place the tail over the working yarn. I've got my hand in here, I've just looped it over my hand, and then I'm just going to grab that working yarn and pull through. Now what that means is when I put my hook through, I can just pull the working yarn and make that loop nice and small. We don't want to pull it really, really tight because we want to be able to work close to that. So we want it just nice and loose. And then I'm going to work 5 chains. So just yarn over and pull the loop over, yarn over, and by now everyone will know how to do chains, but for those that are just tuning in for the first time, and this is a brilliant stitch because it's a standalone stitch. It's fantastic for creating cushions and throws. So we've worked 5 chains here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to work our first stitch. Now we're going to miss the first 2 stitches that are closest to the hook, and we're going to work in the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th stitch. So that's where the 5-2 comes in. I'm working along 5 stitches, and we're going to work a treble stitch. So for a treble we yarn over, and I'm inserting in the 3rd chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. Now what has happened, the 2 chains that we missed at the beginning, it's very small, but it has created a little loop, a little hole for us. And that's crucial because we will be working in that in a moment. Then all I'm going to do is do a treble in the 4th chain from hook and a treble in the 5th chain from hook. Now you'll see that I haven't gone into the slip knot. You do it in that 5th chain. Now that is a corner to corner stitch. That is it. That's what we do. And that is that little red stitch in the very corner there, and that's how it works. So we start with 1. So now we're going to do our next row. Now this is the most confusing part, the whole of corner to corner.
Okay,
so once you've got this,
unfortunately it's the beginning.
And so once you've got this, you've got it for life.
Okay.
So what we need to do is we need to turn and flip because we want the loop to now be down at the bottom right.
Yeah.
Now it's very hard to see, but at the top there is that little chain 2 space that we missed at the beginning. Oh, you can see it, brilliant. Yeah. So that's what you're aiming for, and there is a picture in the instructions that I'll show you how to do that. Okay. And if you think of it logically, the next thing we need to do is increase because we've only got 1 stitch, so we now need to increase. And remember our increase is simply chain 5. So we chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we do exactly the same as we've just done. We work into the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th stitch from the hook with a treble. So we do a treble in the 3rd, a treble in the 4th. I do apologise because my hands are very, very sweaty against this wall. So I am squeaking. I know you can't hear it, but I am. And then the 5th. Now sometimes the 5th is peeping, sometimes it's playing hide and seek, but it will be there if you've worked 5 chains. Now it's left us with like a little bow shape. Now we need to now secure that to the next stitch. It would be a good idea to put a stitch marker in that loop because that's flipped over. Now I know it has because I know what I'm doing, but it needs to be at the top. You need to have that chain 2 space at the top. And all we do is we slip stitch into that chain 2 space to anchor it. So now we've got our first stitch. So now all we're going to do is a basic stitch. So remember we've done our increase and now we do a basic stitch, and a basic stitch is chain 2, and that just replicates those 2 chains that we've missed at the beginning in that 5 chain, and then we do 3 trebles into that 2 chain space. That's a basic stitch. So 1, 2 and 3, and that is our second row complete. So we started with 1 stitch. I call each of these like a stitch. They're a Paul, they're a corner to corner stitch. So we have 1.
Yeah, but they're more like sort of a cluster.
They
of
are.
stitches.
They are. They're a sequence, aren't they, of stitches?
Yeah.
So we've got the 1 in the corner, and then we've got our 2 stitches.
Okay.
And that's all that corner to corner is.
Right. Okay.
So now what we would do, we would turn and flip, and it's really obvious now where it is, because now we've got more in the sequence.
Yes,
You're going to get that step effect. So the next thing we would do is do you're learning. What would you do next?
I'd go across those. I'd go into the corner.
So we need to do an increase row, don't we? So
to get across there.
So we do 5 chain.
5 chain.
That's what you meant, wasn't it? Yeah. 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a treble
into the third.
Oh,
fifth.
see,
Yeah,
it isn't complicated. It just takes a little bit of getting your head around, especially if that first stitch twists. But if you put a stitch marker in, it won't happen. And you can see it's having a tendency just to do its own thing. But once you get further along, it does behave a bit more. And then it's all flappy. So we just need to anchor it to the next one with a slip stitch in that 2 chain space. And then we're going to do a basic stitch. So we chain 2 because we want to get the height, which is the same as the chain 2 at the beginning. And then 3 stitches in that chain 2 space. Whoops. 1, 2, and 3. And then again we want to anchor it to the one next to it. So we slip stitch and just do 1 more basic stitch. Now what I do with my patterns is I tell you row by row what to do. So I will tell you the next row will have 1 increased stitch and X amount of basic stitches, so that you know what you're doing. And now we've got 1, 2, and then 3. So whatever row you're on, you'll have that number of steps.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's a shame. It's a bit like with any crochet, the hardest bit is at the beginning.
It is.
Like when you're doing the centre of a granny square or anything, the hardest bit is the beginning, which is always a shame.
It is, because the hardest thing of this is that sometimes the stitch misbehaves, and if you do go in the wrong side of the stitch, it's going to look really odd. But my top tip would be just put a little stitch marker in that where you've missed those 2 chains, because when you turn and flip, you'll know exactly where the top of it is. Now in my square, excuse me, you've got to have it. Please could you show it, madam? Thank you very much. Oh, I see.
You can have it.
You don't know which one it is.
I just told you. I know, I do. I know it's that one.
Right. In the pattern, I have instructed you to change colour every 2 rows. However, now you've been doing it for 5, well, this is month 5.
Right.
I want to see everyone putting their own take on that.
Okay.
So I want you to change colour.
Wherever you fancy
Wherever you want to change colour. You are going to have enough yarn even to do a plain square.
So you started with red.
So I started with the red, and then I went blue, cream, blue. So I have done the colours, and I've just changed colour when I fancied. But mine is a mirror image. So once I started my decrease, then I did a mirror image.
Okay.
Now, because there may be some that are completely new to this, I've said change colour every 2 rows. The beauty of corner to corner is exactly the same back and front.
Fab.
So if you want to do 1 row of colour, just do 1 row.
Okay.
Whereas, you know, like when you're knitting or something, some of them do have a very obvious right and wrong side.
Mean, but with that one you can
corner
keep
to corner
changing.
doesn't have that. So if you only want to do, so you can see along here I've only done 1 row of the cream there.
And then you've done 2
and then I've done 3 of that one and then 1. But I want to see this one. I'm setting the challenge out there. I want now to see everyone's creativity. And I've also been a bit naughty as well, because I've now said that keep going and going and going until it measures your granny square, because I now want people to start having the confidence to start sizing them, because everyone crochets different. So what you would do for that is you would get your granny square. Let's just take it, doesn't matter which one, because the granny square should all be the same. It's all the same wall. And then this is the border, but just ignore the border, and then you would place it on the edge here, And then you would keep going and going and going until you get
Yeah, because yours
to
won't
the
have a
same
border yet,
size.
'cause
Yours
we haven't
won't have
done
the
that.
cream border on it. So you just keep doing what I'm doing. So all an increase is you start with an increase and then you work one extra basic stitch, next row increase, and then there'll be an extra basic stitch. So that's all that you do until you get to where you want to be. My top tip on this one is do not go over, if anything, be a little shorter.
Right, okay.
Because when we go to the blocking stage, well, you know, if something's too big, it will not fit
No.
in. But if something's a tiny bit smaller or smaller, we can stretch it slightly
So
when we're
just
doing our blocking.
Because it'll only be half a row anyway, wouldn't it? That would be the difference.
It's not going to be, it's not going to be much.
Okay.
Right, so when you've got to where you want to be,
Right.
then you start decreasing. Now again, this is the next stitch in what we're doing in the corner to corner. Now I've gone all the way along this row, so this isn't the size yours will be the size of my blanket. So I've gone along the row, and when I get to the last stitch here, so what you would normally do is you'd normally do your slip stitch into there and then you'd work your basic stitch. However, with a decrease, you just work a slip stitch into that 2 chain space at the top and stop. And what that will do, it will start to straighten your edges up for you.
Yeah.
So next time we now turn it over and now we want to start going down. So think of it as going up and down. So we're now going down and we need to get the yarn.
And this is the point at which you change colour if you want.
Yes. Yes. Well, no, you can change colour anyway. Yes, this will be the
At
point.
either end.
Right. So I will show you how to change colour when we get to the. I'll do a couple of stitches and then change colour just to show you how to do that. But I just wanted you to show the end. So what we do is we slip stitch along the top, in the top of those trebles there, and you just slip stitch. Now there should be 3 of them, but it doesn't matter if you only do 2. But what you want to do is slip stitch into that 2 chain space. And that's how you get your straight edges.
Right.
So now
yeah.
all we need to do is just work basic stitches. Now that's it. So we do chain 2 and then we work 3 treble into that chain 2 space. Now they're on their sides this time. So chain 2 space, we work 3 trebles and then we just anchor it, because at the moment it's very floppy, and then we just anchor it with a slip stitch into that chain 2 space, and that's how you create the stitches. If you want to change colour, it's always best to change colour on the final step so that you've got, and this is probably very good for anyone that's doing corner to corner charts, you would always change colour just before you start the next stitch, because then it gets hidden. So I'm just going to do a basic stitch. So I've done my chain 2 and my 3 trebles, and then before I finish the final step, or on the slip stitch, it doesn't really matter, you would change your colour. So you can either do it, so if I do it where we do it, we finish it off and then we do our slip stitch. So I'm going to change colour.
So I guess you could change colour halfway along a row.
Absolutely.
If you want to.
I'm looking for creativity
Right, okay.
here.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And then that hides the colour.
Well,
so
I
it's
guess if you're working from a chart, then you would change colour halfway
You
along
would.
the road.
Absolutely.
Along the road.
If you're working. And I was just thinking of your little booky thing, because corner to corner are done on the diagonal, but because it's magnetic and you get to place the magnets at the back where you want, there's nothing to stop you working from a corner to corner chart. It doesn't have to just be backwards and forwards. I was thinking that. And then you would just carry on all along the row. So yes, this where I am looking
yeah, for some creativity. We're
on
looking
this
forward
one.
to seeing all those on the fan page, and then message us in and we will show them next month.
Oh, please do. And I am blown away. And I have to say, I will say thank you in a moment because we're getting on to the knitting. Carol Waters has done the most incredible job with the knitting blanket here. I think she tore her hair out quite a few times with me because I kept changing my mind and changing things. But she's been phenomenal with this. And then you just keep going, that same technique until you get down to 1.
And then you're done.
And then you're done with your square.
Fantastic.
It's amazing.
And all the instructions you need are in the book. So even if you just want to learn the corner to corner, it's all in here. All the instructions, everything you need to know is in there. Obviously, this is to make the whole part of the blanket. But if you think, actually, I just want to learn corner to corner and I want the yarn to make this, there's enough to make 4 or 5. You could make 4 corner cushions.
Obviously, though, depending on everyone's creativity, it will make a difference how much of a certain colour you've got left. So you may not be able to make 5 exactly the same.
But there is enough.
But there will be enough.
So you could make a couple of cushions. But
you could,
so
definitely.
for this month's crochet, this is the one. That's the one that's on screen at the moment. You get the full instructions with all the diagrams, everything. So everything that you really need to know. There's the instructions to make the granny square as well as the corner to corner. We've put them in every month, although you get them. It's just in case we didn't want anyone to have these as an incomplete set. So if people do join and they think, I only want to make that one, the instructions to make the granny square and the corner to corner are all in there. That's the one that's on screen at the moment.
And we did do that for a very good reason, because it's the granny square is where anyone, I believe, should begin. You know, that is personal, but I just think that working in rows is very difficult. So the first thing to do is granny, and then they are a standalone because you can make cushions with them.
Yes. So if you just want that one, then you can have 400 grams and the instructions. But obviously, it is part of the whole blanket. So if you're just joining us, you need to get the other 4 as well.
Definitely. I'm just so excited. As I say, I'm seeing snippets because I'm seeing everyone upload their photos and they're just incredible.
Show us the blanket, Wendy.
Show us. You're not having this one.
Yeah, Carol knitted. I don't know. I think Carol's having that one back.
Yes, Carol's having this one. You are not having this one.
Wonderful knitting elves. This uses a 4.5mm needle. Now I've put the 2 lengths in, the 30 centimetre and the 40 centimetre, because most people knit with the 30 centimetre, but if you live up north...
I didn't know it was an up north thing.
It is.
Well,
they told me
stick
that.
It under your arms.
What was it Sarah said the other day? They're pit knitters, they're called. Because they put them under their arms. Yeah. Yeah, it's a name. And we have quite a lot of demonstrators who
pit knit,
who do it. They have 1 needle under arm. So that's why I've got the 40 centimetres. You only really need the 30 centimetre length, but if you want the extra long ones, then they are the same price anyway. 4.5mm is the size
same price.
that you need. Yes.
It's not very often you get that, is it, where you get more value for
and
money?
the great thing about these Knit Pro Zing is each size comes in a different colour, so they all match.
I absolutely love that.
I know, I love so easy to see them. Yeah, this sort of darky emerald blue is 4.5mm.
But you can also use circular.
Yes, and they do the colours as well.
Circular needles are wonderful if you're making big blankets because they take the weight, especially if you struggle with maybe your shoulders and stuff. So.
Oh, and also cable, because we're doing cable. So if you don't have cable needles, these are fab. If you've done cable in the past and haven't done it for a while, like me, well, I come back to it. I've never seen curved cable needles.
I can't find mine.
Can't have these.
I can't find
these,
mine.
Kat said. But these are great because they have a little curve in, so it doesn't
They're the best.
Don't fall off.
I cannot, you know, they've gone in that little orifice where they go and then you
well,
can't
they're probably
find
the same
them.
place as my bodkins that I've lost.
Well, very probably. But they are brilliant because you're quite right. When you slip them on, they don't slip back off again. So they are fantastic. If you want some
cable needles, and they are the Knit Pro. You have 2 sizes. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter too much what size your cable needle are, but there's just a very thin one and a fatter one.
Yeah, I mean, it's better if you have the same sort of size. Because the work's been done with the transferring anyway. You've got the size of the stitch.
It's just the same sort of size, isn't it, really? But you have 2 in there, so if you want a cable needle, these are fab.
Was it Carrie saying she'd use the pence? It's like, oh my, but that would have to be really thick wool, wouldn't it? On for this, you would not be able to.
You need these are great cable needles.
They are brilliant. And yeah, thank you so much, Carol. Thank you so much for this one. We really had our lots of head scratching with this one because a cable will naturally pull the wool in because of the way the stitches are formed, it will naturally pull them in. So we were going to do a whole row of cables, but it turned out about this big.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So what we wanted to do, because we want to make sure that they fit at the end of the series, we want to show you the technique with the hope with this one that then people upload photos and go, look, this is what I've made with this technique.
Right, okay.
And cable is really, really easy. Really, really easy. Now, I cable what's called cable front, but you can cable back. And all that means is what you do with your stitches when you've taken them off, they're in waiting, so to speak. Now, this one here is a cable back, this one's a cable back, and this is the one that I'm going to be doing, which is a cable front.
So it's just twisted the other way.
They look exactly the same.
Totally up to you.
Apart from they're going that way, and then they're going that way. So there are going to be a lot of people out there going, but you know, I cable back. That's absolutely fine. If you want to do cable back on that row, that is fine.
Okay.
So I've just got a little one because I don't want you to see me knitting the whole row backwards and forwards.
Yeah, that would be a bit boring.
And I've tried to get the shortest ones I can find because I make such a clank when I'm doing this. I should go for the pit method, shouldn't I?
Yeah,
I'm going to try that.
It looks really, really difficult.
It does. Oh, and there's another lady, I can't remember her name, that she's like lightning. I've never seen anyone knit quite as fast as her. I am in absolute awe. So this is amazing because you have an 8-row pattern.
Fab.
And 1 row is cable. Don't you just love that? That's it, just one row.
1 row is cable.
So one row
it's very long.
out of these 8 rows are cable.
Okay.
Is cable. And what I have done, I've done every single row by row in the pattern. Now you wouldn't normally get that. You would normally get repeat from row whatever to whatever. Yeah. Because there are going to be people that maybe just dip into this month. So if they want to change colour, but they can't remember what row they're on, then it's all literally down there
okay,
for them.
so it's all written out.
Yes.
Well, the whole point is this was for beginners, wasn't it?
It is, that's right. And also, I just want to show you the finished square. Now you can see I'm very loose. I'm very relaxed, that's the word, isn't it? I'm a very relaxed knitter.
Yes.
So mine is nearly really stretchy and relaxed. But I just wanted to show you on the reverse, and actually you can really see it with my relaxed attitude here, isn't it? This is the colour change. So Carol has worked it out so that you don't see this. So on one of the rows you just knit, which is brilliant because then it will take all this colour change to the back of the square.
Yeah.
Again, I actually quite like
it's great.
that colour
it's
change.
a feature.
It is, isn't it?
It's a feature.
It is.
It's like a running stitch.
It's
you see
fantastic.
patterns where people use that as a feature anyway.
Oh, I love that. And also, if you've got like, you're doing a garter stitch, you're going to see it on some rows. If you alternate it, it means that it's double-sided anyway.
Yeah,
so you don't have
true.
a right and a wrong side. So the pattern is just literally stocking stitch, but then a cable section. But then this row is just a knit row. That's it. That is all the pattern is. And I wanted to make it really, really simple because people are
so that you can concentrate
scared.
on the cable.
Yes, so I'm going to do the row before the cable, and all that is some stocking stitch. So I just alternate between plain rows and purl rows, and then I'm going to get to this cable section, and then again it's just stocking stitch but kind of on the reverse. So where this was plain here, it's now purl, and where it's plain there, it's now purl. So I'm just going to do that. So this is the row before the cable. And these needles are a little bit big because these are the only ones that were short. So I wouldn't normally use this size needle. So I'm just going to knit and purl where instructed. And now I'm going to come to the cable row. Whoops, excuse me. Now I'm doing a cable 6 front, and all that means is the cable section is worked over 6 stitches. So I'm going to see I've got this one, in fact this one, I don't know where I've put my needle, my cable needle. Let me get another one. These ones were my mum's. She did a lot of cabling, my mum, but I have been known to use a crochet hook. So you can see here I've got
Yes, no,
different
my old
sizes.
cable. This is a newfangled invention.
I can't believe you've never seen the bendy one.
No.
Honestly, it's a revelation, and I don't know where mine's gone.
I've got some others as well that are in a loop. Have you seen those?
No.
I'll show you later.
Oh, you'll have to show me later.
They're amazing.
So I'm just going to work the stitches to get to that centre cable section. Oh, I just see I'm not too bad with these short ones, am I? So I've now got to that centre cable.
Yeah.
The 6 centre cable sections.
So we're on the right side now.
Well, yes, this is the right side because it looks wrong because you've got your purl.
Yeah, but you
but
have
it's
purl.
right. Yes.
And then the cable is in knit.
Yeah, it's
and then the other is in pearl.
Because we wanted to do it because we tried it always. As I say, this one looks very easy, but this was the one that gave us the most difficulty because we wanted that centre to look really different to the rest.
Yeah, I know. And so if you'd done the whole thing as knit, it wouldn't have stood out as much.
It wouldn't have stood out. And also because we've done that knit row, it looks like you've got a tiny little ridge, but it pushes the yarn to the back so that we've got all the joins at the back. So what we're going to do now, we're going to slip. So we're doing a cable 6 front. So we're just going to slip the stitches from the left hand needle and we're going to slip them on to a cable needle.
So just 3.
Just 3. And then we're going to work on 3. That's where you get the cable 6 from.
Yeah.
So we put it to the front and then all we're going to do is knit the next 3. So I was doing a purl, so I need to put my yarn over so that I'm back to knitting, to working a knit stitch. When you cable, I find it quite difficult when I've got it at the back. It just disappears, it just keeps falling out. Whereas at the front, I tend to have more control over the cable needle.
Well, I guess I've done cable where you alternate front and back, front and back.
Yes, can do.
And then you haven't got a choice.
Well, no. But I thought I'd give everyone
yes,
the choice
I think
to
this
do.
is it. No, I know what you mean. I think everyone has their preferred one,
They have.
don't they?
So you can either do the cable back or the cable front.
Yeah.
You will get the same overall, but the twist will just be in a different way.
I'm sure people have. I don't know really.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people prefer
favourite.
it. But when it goes to the back, it has a tendency, especially if you haven't got one of your fancy needles, sometimes it falls off.
Just fall out. Oh, okay. No,
And
that
then
makes
all
sense.
we're going to do, so we slipped them on the needle, remember, that way. And this is the point of a cable needle, that it's double-ended. So we're going to move them to the other end of the cable needle, and then we're just going to knit them as normal. So we just knit those ones, like that. And that is it. That is our cable section completed. And then we just continue along the end of the row, working the pattern. As I say,
yeah, it's weird. It's like reverse stocking stitch.
It is.
Is it reverse?
Yeah.
Is it called
that? Well, I don't know if it would be classed as that because it is stocking stitch. It's kind of, looks like we must have reversed the cable in the middle.
Yeah.
But we tried it every way.
No, but cable's always done like that, isn't
yeah.
it? Or where you have between 2 cables, you have pearls anyway.
Yes, because that's what we were going to do that. We've tried that. But this one looked the nicest because it really gave us a raised centre.
I really like it. I think
and
it
then
looks lovely.
all you do is continue and follow the pattern. But for this section, we've done the cable. That's it.
So you just do that once?
You just do it once in the 8 rows.
In the 8 rows.
And then you continue working through. And then I'm just going to, just to show you that when you get to that centre section again, because the stitches have a tendency to misbehave, you just might need to just be a little bit careful how you knit them up because because we've had to pull them across a needle, they do get a little bit bunched up sometimes.
So they're a bit sort of...
A little bit bunched up.
You just have to sort of knit.
Yes, but they
carefully.
Once you've done this row,
yeah,
then it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And then you get back to the beginning, and then you can see because we pulled the stitches way over. That's what creates this beautiful.
It is lovely, isn't it?
It looks much, much more complicated than it is, isn't it? And the whole point of this series was to get them back at their hooks and their needles and to give them the confidence. And that looks very hard, but it really isn't.
I like the fact it just has that little twisted cable through the middle. It's really good. So if you're more of an expert knitter and you want to go for it, put more cables in, but
Absolutely.
you will need more stitches.
You will, because the cable naturally will bring
it in.
You can fill that stretch in there.
But you could, knit it, see how many, if I was going to do it, I'd knit, say, about 4 rows. See how many extra stitches, if you're a more experienced knitter.
For the experience, yeah, absolutely.
For the beginners, leave it like that.
Absolutely, leave it like this.
For the more experienced, send us a photo.
That would be amazing, because if you have more cables, for the more experienced knitter, you will be able to see the transition between the stitches. But if you're new, the last thing you want to be doing is worrying about, where do I put this, where do I put that? If you've just got those 6 stitches in that centre, it's really, really easy. And this one and the crochet version this month are both standalone, so you could put them as a cushion because they've got a really nice tight weave.
And again, you can do what you like with the colours for this. couldn't you?
Again, I've changed them in there, and I have changed, and I have told you what colours to go, but I am looking for creativity.
Well, that's
on
it.
this.
I mean, you know, when these are sticking blocks, aren't they? Add loads of cables if you're more experienced. Give it a go. You will.
I'm
need
looking
more,
forward to seeing that.
You'll need the same number of rows, but you'll need more stitches.
Yeah, I'm
across.
looking forward to that. But the one thing I would say about the colour changes is that you really do need to change the colour on the knit row, because one of the rows in them is a knit, and the whole point of that is to get the bobbles at the back and to get that colour change at the back. But what you could do red, cream, green, blue if you wanted to. Or but I would. I'm really looking forward to this month.
This is your starting
really
block,
looking forward to this. It is. I'm really excited for this month because I want to see that creativity. Is there anything else we needed to?
No, I don't think so. Let's show them the blank, because I'm going to go through all the blocks. So let's have a look at the blanket again. Okay, Janet, we're going to send you all the bundles now. So which block was first then? Little test.
Okay.
Oh, now you know.
Oh, I know.
I'll tell you
so
which one was first.
This was the first. I know. This one was the first. This one was the first because we learned all how to do the garter, and then we learned how to do moss stitch and rib. So that one is that one.
That was the first.
That's the first.
Okay. Number 2
was the corner to corner, but on that one, so that would be this one on this.
But knitted corner to corner.
Yes.
Right.
That
was number 2.
Number
3. Maybe we should show the
I want to
kits at
say
the same
number 3 is that
Should
one.
we do the kits at the same time?
I think that would be an idea, just in case. I think that's number 3.
Number 3 is which one?
That one? Yes.
Number 3 was the floral Fair Isle square.
And then number
4
was the lace one.
Lace.
The
I
lace one.
love that one.
This is my favourite one.
I think it might be mine as well.
It's my favourite. This is. I just love it. Mind you, it's a real. My other favourite is what's coming up next month. That's my other favourite.
Right. I do like the lace. I think that's lovely.
And then
so in the same with the crochet. So with the knitting, you make a garter square is your basic.
You do.
And you make one other. And in your blanket, you have 2 of each. Yes.
One of each.
Well, you make
one of each 6 times.
Yes. Well, in your blanket, you have 1 garter and 1 special square, and then the next month, so you have 6 garter squares and 6 special squares. But obviously, you have enough yarn to make 4 rather than 2, if not 5.
Well, we know one lady's, but we don't know what her tension's like.
I think it's a really nice idea to give one away.
See, I'd give the one away that I'd practiced. I wouldn't. I'd keep the really good one for me and give the one away I practiced.
Right. So I'm going to go through the knitting kits, and then we'll do crochet. So number 1 knitting kit is the garter square and the basket weave moss stitch square, and these are the 4 colours of yarn. It did, didn't it? You get cream, apple. I should know these colours now, shouldn't I? Aster. And lipstick. So that's number 1, and that's knitting number 1. So you get the instructions to do the garter square and the basket weave moss stitch square. That's number 1. Knitting number 2 is this one, and in this one you get the instructions to do the garter square. Oh God, I'm on crochet. That's really confusing. Oh, that's because I didn't have the knitting instructions. They were in something else, weren't they? So number 2 is the garter square and the corner to corner square, and in this one you get a ball of cream, apple, denim, yes, and raspberry. So some of the colours are repeated, and then some colours are different, but they all go together. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that lovely floral Fair Isle one. So you get the instructions for, there's the picture, the garter square and the floral Fair Isle. And in this one you get cream, pale rose, cloud blue and cypress. So 400 grams in total. Knitting number 4 is the garter square again and the lace square. And in this one you get cream, aster, meadow and rose, pale rose. So they always go together, don't they? And everything goes together. And then number 5 is the one that we've just talked about. And number 5 is the cable. And in that one, you get lipstick, cypress, denim, and cream. So that is knitting.
That's the knitting one.
Right, crocheting from the beginning. And I'm going to do them and you're going to show me the square. That's how we're going to do it. So crochet.
Sounds like a plan.
Crochet 1. Oh, so complicated. It's complicated, wasn't it?
That one.
Crochet number 1 is where you get these 4 colours, and that was the normal granny square and
The mitre.
the mitre square. So those are the 4 colours you get, and then you get the instructions obviously to do the normal granny square, which you can see to the right. Where was the normal? Have you got that one in normal?
I have them all in normal, madam.
Do you have that one in normal?
I do have
please?
that one in normal.
So that's
And
the
it's upside
basic
down.
granny square. So you had the instructions to make that in those 4 colours, and that corner granny square, which Wendy just showed us. That is number 1. Crochet 2 is the normal granny square and the corner to corner square. No.
What?
It was different, wasn't it?
What?
Well, this is called corner to corner, but that's different.
No, that's what we said at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Was Kat not listening to us? Were you not listening, Kat? The corner to corner granny is a completely different square to corner to corner.
And corner to corner normal is called C2C.
Yes, C2C.
C2C.
Yes. And
this is the corner to corner granny. These are the 4 colours you get, and that's the square that Wendy's got there. So that's the corner to corner granny, which is different to the C2C square. And that's crochet 2. Crochet 3 is these 4 colours, and it was, I haven't got the instructions for that. What was that one called?
That one. Floral.
It was a special stitch.
Floral.
Yes.
Because it's got the puff and the popcorn.
Puff stitch and popcorn stitch, and then obviously there was the granny as well. These are the 4 colours: pale rose, cream, cloud blue, and cypress. So that was 4. I love that one because I like the popcorn stitches.
I loved that.
And then number 4 is those 4 colours, which is pale rose. Oh, I should know these now, shouldn't I? Meadow, cream, and aster. And there's the normal.
That's the V-stitch.
The V-stitch.
That's the V-stitch. So we did start off with the centre. This was all about teaching transitions between stitches.
Right. Yes.
So this one had corner
That's
and
lovely,
V.
isn't it?
I love that
I like the V-stitch.
V-stitch, yeah.
So you like number 4. You had lace
I like
for the
number 4.
knitting and then the V-stitch.
Oh, yes.
So the idea, and then obviously number 5 is the one that we've just done, which is the C2C, corner to corner, not granny corner to corner, but C2C. So the beauty of this is that every month you will learn something you can use for other things. So when you see corner to corner granny and you see puff stitch or popcorn stitch, you go, done that. I've done that. So if you've only just joined us, go back to the beginning because you will learn so much. So hopefully that makes sense, because can I say that this is really important that you've learned all of this, because Wendy and I are developing a very, very special secret Christmas project. Secret, don't tell anyone, because the secret project, it will be building on these skills that you've learnt, although it will be, started for beginners, but it will be building on the confidence that you've learned. The good thing about it is a total secret. And we will be launching it next month sometime for you, and we're going to do it so it is a secret, so you don't really know what you're making until the end. So please stay with us. And it's just crochet, not knitting, just crochet. You're going to love it. Anyway, thank you very much, Wendy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for being with us. And when are you coming back?
20th, I think.
20th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks' time.
Yes.
She'll be back in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. Oh, with Rose Crochet. Yay. I just remember we were talking about that this morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. It has been a pleasure, as always, being with you on Yarn Lane. Yarn Lane is back on Wednesday with kits and tools, and it's also back on Friday and Saturday this week. But thank you for joining me, and please do message in, join the fan page. We love seeing your photos, and I will see you next week.